Hello, everyone. The message has landed particularly badly among longtime allies. Canada and Mexico, key partners in the USMCA, believe that Trump is violating the spirit of the trilateral agreement. Japan has expressed deep disappointment over the lack of distinction between strategic allies and economic competitors. Brazil is already facing a 50% tariff starting in August and could lead a bloc of Global South countries in opposition to this policy. Europe, one of the United States' oldest and most stable trading partners, has described the threats as a direct attack on the architecture of Western economic order. Brazil is one of the world's top 2 food exporters and a major player in technology as well. Let's not forget, Brazil is the second largest economy in the Americas. We'll see how this standoff ends. Let's see what Brazilian President Lula da Silva had to say.
We can appeal to the World Trade Organization, demand investigations, demand explanations. But above all, we have the reciprocity law. We'll try to negotiate, but if there's no deal, we'll match his 50%.
Presidente da República de país do tamanho dos Estados Unidos ficar ameaçando o mundo através da internet. Não é correto. Sabe? Ele precisa saber que o mundo mudou. Sabe? Não queremos imperador. Nós somos países soberanos. Se ele achar que ele pode taxar, os países têm o direito de taxar também.
It's going to be a great thing for our country, and I think it's going to be a fair thing for the world. And we really haven't had too many complaints because I'm keeping them at a very low number, very conservative, as you would say, number. And we haven't had, I'm sure they will be complaining at certain points, but we haven't had complaints.
President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva responded by stating that Brazil will enact reciprocal measures in accordance with international law and World Trade Organization, WTO, regulations. We will not accept blackmail or economic aggression disguised as ideology, Lula declared. The announcement has sparked an unusual national consensus. Even critics of the government, such as the agribusiness sector aligned with former President Bolsonaro, have condemned the trade attack. Now, we turn to another clash involving the Trump administration, this time with one of the United States' oldest and most loyal allies for over 50 years, Japan. Brilliant strategic move or a step toward isolation? Trump is betting that his threat will force new trade concessions and revitalize American industry. But experts warn that this unusual and risky strategy could backfire. If enough countries band together and launch coordinated retaliation, the U.S. could find itself isolated within the very system it once helped build, while China emerges as the new global economic center of gravity. Now, we turn to another clash involving the Trump administration, this time with one of the United States' oldest and most loyal allies for over 50 years. Japan.
The Japanese government is determined to avoid making easy compromises. We are fully committed to negotiating with all our strength, seeking what must be sought and protecting what must be protected. On the 7th, the US government announced that it would impose a 25% tariff on all products from our country. At the same time, it was stated that these tariffs would take effect from the 1st of August, and we have received official notification regarding this matter. While aiming to reach an agreement with the United States as soon as possible, we remain committed to consistently protecting our national interests through direct exchanges between myself and President Trump, including the Japan-US summit in June, as well as Minister Kaza's discussions with Europe, the US, and at the ministerial level, we have continued to engage in constructive, gentlemanly, and sincere discussions. However, at this point, there are still unresolved issues between Japan and the United States. And unfortunately, we have not yet reached an agreement. This is the current position of the Japanese government. We must avoid easy compromises, insist on what we should seek, and protect what must be protected. We have been able to continue these difficult negotiations. At the same time, through repeated discussions with the US side, we have seen progress in the talks. As a result, the tariff rate indicated in this recent letter is not the 30% or 35% that President Trump has recently mentioned, but is in effect being maintained at the current level, and furthermore, it extends the period for further negotiation. The US side has also proposed that, depending on Japan's response, the contents of the letter could be reconsidered and that they would like to promptly proceed with discussions with Japan toward the new deadline of the 1st of August. It is truly regrettable that in addition to the additional tariffs already imposed by the US government, they have announced an increase in tariff rates this evening. At the same time, as a result of the previous negotiations, the deadline has been extended, and I ask all relevant departments to take the following actions. We will ensure that this continues through today. First, we will persistently continue negotiations between Japan and the US and energetically seek the possibility of an agreement that will protect our national interests while also benefiting both Japan and the US. Second, we will closely monitor the actions of the US government, including the series of tariff measures, as well as the responses of other countries, and thoroughly analyze the impact on our country. Third, going forward, the series of tariff measures by the US, we will make every possible effort to mitigate the impact on domestic industries and employment. We ask that you continue to uphold the world standards, persist in negotiations with the United States, and that the entire government works together to address this issue with the utmost priority and full commitment. That is all. The Japanese government is determined to avoid making easy compromises. We are fully committed to negotiating with all our strength, seeking what must be sought and protecting what must be protected. Through the discussions held so far, the deadline has been extended. As we approach the new deadline of the 1st of August, we will continue discussions between Japan and the United States, aiming for an agreement that protects our national interests while also benefiting both countries. We are committed to safeguarding our domestic industries and employment and so on. There will be impacts. We will do everything possible to mitigate those effects, and the government will continue to work as one in these negotiations. That is all.
Subscribe to stay informed. We'll continue bringing you updates.